We are only 4 issues into the Dynamite Ben 10 comic series, and already it feels like we're starting at a new beginning for the series. Ben 10 co-creator Stephen T. Siegel takes the helm from Joe Casey as the writer for issues 4 and 5, and this issue does feel like a new starting point for the series. If you wanted to skip to issue 4 without reading the first 3 issues, you absolutely could, just like how you could theoretically start with any episode of Ben 10 as your first episode, which has both upsides and downsides. It felt like with the previous 3 issues, we were building towards the proper reveal of the plumbers in issue 4, and it's not addressed at all here. None of the weird stuff the Rust Bucket did is mentioned at all. And this isn't a real complaint, but there are some parts in this comic issue that recaps what we just saw in the previous issue, making this again feel like a new starting place, even though we're only 4 issues into the series. The story begins with our introduction to Zombozo. Immediately there is a spooky green glow behind him, letting people know that this guy is weird. And thinking about it now, how often do you see clowns wear black? That kind of is a uniquely Zombozo thing, thinking about it now. He's worn black before, but now he's starting to turn into Spider-Verse Kingpin. We cut to Ben, who is in the middle of a nightmare as Wildvine. It doesn't last long, though, as Ben quickly wakes up from the bad dream. I have to mention that on the preview pages, Wildvine's eye was green, and now it's red. Why did it change to red? I do not know. Some of the comic covers have previously shown it to be blue, so I guess they just couldn't decide what color to make Wildvine's eye. It seems like this dream sequence is meant to be setting up Ghost Freak, which yeah, it feels a bit early to be setting him up when he's not one of the 10 original aliens in this Omnitrix. But the crew of the comic series have already been teasing that Ghost Freak will appear, so it seems like he is the 11th alien this time around. Also, way back in the pop-up trivia, we found out that Wildvine does have a connection to Ghost Freak, so it would be really cool if this is somehow payoff for that 20 years later. After Ben messes with Gwen and Max, we then cut to Gas Bauman's Mega Mart. So Mr. Bauman was a character that appeared in one episode of Ben 10 Ultimate Alien, who then became a reoccurring character in Ben 10 Omniverse. And I love him so much. I really hope this isn't just an Easter egg and he actually gets to appear later on in the comic series. It would warm my heart. Now, Megamart is a location that we have not seen since the pilot episode of the original Ben 10, Washington, BC. So it has been 20 years since we've seen this grocery store. We are really going back to Ben 10's roots now. And just like in that episode, what catches Ben's attention inside the store is the Sumo Slammer cards. You know, if this comic actually takes place in 2026, then all of those cards would be sold out right now. Just saying. Ben encounters Thumbskull, who gives him a flyer to Zombozo's circus. After seeing Thumbskull, the Omnitrix automatically turns on and transforms Ben into Heat Blast. This weird purple bug fly appears, which is probably one of Vilgax's drones. Before Ben can get into trouble for turning into an alien, Gwen shows Grandpa Max the flyer for Zombozo's circus, which seems to hypnotize Max a little bit just looking at the poster. At the circus, Ben turns into Accelerate the Cheat at the carnival games, but Gwen's luck helps her win more toys than Ben did, and one of the toys includes Zingo from Ben 10 2016. We cut away to Vilgax inside of his spaceship as he's talking to one of his crewman who gets a name. Oh gosh, I don't want to pronounce this word. Zavald. And this character apparently has 2 faces. Weird. They received a report of pyronite energy from Earth, and so Vilgax commands them to set course for the planet. Honestly, I'm not sure why we needed to see Vilgax again. Seems like it's going to be a hot minute before he actually gets to meet Ben face to face in the comic series, and I think he's already gotten enough build up in the previous 3 issues, so I'm not sure why we needed to see him again in issue 4. Inside the circus, Zombozo immediately tries to hypnotize the Tennysons, and it doesn't work on Ben at all. Our hero of heroes tries to turn into forearms, but instead he gets Stinkfly, and again, the Omnitrix is not drawn with any alien icons. And so it seems like Ben has no control over which alien he ends up transforming into in this series. And now that he's stuck as Stinkfly, Ben has no idea what to do. The issue ends with Max seemingly falling off a cliff as Ben transforms back into human form, a literal cliffhanger. Overall, I thought this issue was decent. I think more time could have been spent on building up Zombozo as a big threat instead of pulling away to Vilgax. Wild Divine, Accelerate, and Stinkfly all appear in this issue, but we barely get a taste as to what their powers are if you are unfamiliar with Ben 10. Gwen finally got some more things to do in this issue, including showing up Ben, so this is really a return to classic Gwen, and I really appreciate that. She finally got a decent amount of screen time in this series, and hopefully that will continue past the Zombozo arc. While I don't think this is the most graceful transition between writers of a comic series, I think it is a pretty good one. It feels like the same world from the previous 3 issues, but with a little bit more classic Ben 10 spice put into the mix. So yeah, I think I enjoyed this issue. Will I enjoy the next issue? I don't know. We'll have to wait and find out. If you enjoyed this video and want to see another one, I made a video last year about the history of Ghost Freak, and I went into his connection with Wild Divine in that video, so be sure to check it out. Alright, bye.